Hey, what is up guys? Welcome back to another niche focus video. Today we're talking about the Zeapon Micro 2 slider. So if you want to know something that can instantly elevate your videos, short films, or any video projects that you're working on, camera movement by far is the best thing to focus on. A nice shaky, kind of just natural feel, used a lot in fight scenes or chasing after people, or if you want like raw emotion in the scene. Handheld's really good for that. You have gimbals, like 3-axis gimbals, which of course is going to steady the shots and allow for different pans, tilts, rolls even, so you can get more creative, you can move around, even run, or show different angles while still maintaining a smooth movement. And then the most common for feature films in a lot bigger budgets are Steadicams, which by the way, if you're a Steadicam operator, that's like a skill set in itself that is just really hard to master and learn, but they make it look so easy. Kind of like a gimbal, its purpose is to give really smooth shots. So if you're tracking someone, if you're following them, or in parallel with someone, or doing some sort of creative transition move, like one of my favorite ones was in the original Apple AirPod commercial. I'm guessing it was a Steadicam. It looks like it. It's very smooth, it's natural, and then it kind of inverts 90 degrees. So you can do some really cool stuff if you're a great operator. But what differs it from a gimbal is the fact that it has a more natural feel. It has a little bit of bumpiness and waviness to it that makes it feel more human rather than a robotic gimbal or robotic arm. Speaking on the ND level, we'll draw it back to reality here for the sake of this video, is going to be sliders. Now, a good slider is often one of the first purchases that we make. Maybe not so much anymore, but when I was starting out, there really weren't gimbals under, a $10,000 price range, so you got a good slider. Remember the first video of MKBHD? Rip. One of his first videos I ever saw was on his Shark S1 slider. A video that I did years ago was on one of my first really nice sliders that had extensions and whatnot. And to be honest, for the past couple of years, I've kind of gone away from using sliders because gimbals seemed so much easier. You just set it up and boom, now you have this big gimbal and stuff. And so when Zeapon reached out and asked me if I wanted to use their new Micro 2 slider, I was hesitant, but it looked interesting, and I haven't used one of these double length type sliders before, and so I said, sure, yeah, let me give it a shot and try it out. So for the past couple of months, I've actually been using it on different various projects, and I found that it's actually still quite useful compared to having a gimbal. Now, what makes this slider different than others, and what problems of other sliders does it fix? Well, the first one is pretty easy to see. This is the entire slider, while this is the case for my other slider. This thing weighs probably about 20 pounds, so traveling with this thing is not very easy. There is a use for giant sliders like this, definitely, but if you're traveling or you just need something quick, something like this is going to get very annoying very quickly. Also, we get to point 2, which is the setup time. With my other slider, you have to put the rails together, you got to put the ends on, you got to put the rubber track through all the various ports and holes, and get that tightened down. Then you got to put the head on, mount it to a tripod, but then you have to put sticks on either side or else it's gonna lean one way and fall over. So the way the Micro 2 slider fixes that is what they call the Lock Two. Out of the box, the slider connects to pretty much any tripod head or light stand that you can imagine, using a 1/4-20 adapted hole or a bigger 5/8 if you take out the adapter. So you can mount that directly to the tripod if you wanted to, and that's fine. It'll just screw on, still pretty simple. What I love is this Lock Two accessory. This is what gives you the feet, so you can do really low angled shots. The feet come out just like this. This isn't too crazy. It's incredibly thin and light, but the main point of the setup is the fact that it has a quick release system. So here I have, all right, I'm just gonna leave that on. Already with the quick release plate on it. Again, this is just another 5/8 screw mounted directly onto the tripod. And then again, the Lock is normally already mounted on the slider. Another thing I really like is this won't easily unscrew or get loose over time because it has a little part that sticks up that slots into the hole. I know, super great terminology. Basically, and it keeps it from twisting. So I guess it's a anti-twisting lock. I don't know. But that way, even if the screw gets loose, it's not going to twist on you because it's actually locked in. And so now I have the whole tripod, got the quick release already on my tripod. And so now I can just slide this on, tighten it down with one screw, and boom, it's all set, mounted to a tripod. And then to take it off, open two of the legs up, loosen it, slide it off. That simple. And the final issue with some sliders is the fact that sometimes they're just not smooth. So as I mentioned, this is one of those sliders that goes twice the distance of its actual size. But one thing that really helps is on the inside of each track. First I thought it was a piece of foam I was supposed to take out, and then I realized it's actually a feature. They have this, like, I don't even know what material it is, but basically it makes sure that there's no dust or grime that stays locked in, and it basically is constantly cleaning the rails, which is super helpful. So the other impressive thing about this slider is even though it's incredibly small and lightweight, you can put a full professional head on here, as well as a pretty decent camera payload. You can have up to around 17 to 18 pounds is the max payload on this guy. And so while it may look a little silly having a giant rig and a very small slider on the bottom of it, you get some really incredible shots, especially for macro stuff. For travel slider, you can't get much better than something like this. I'm also really excited because in the future they are going to come out with some motors to make this a motorized slider, so add-ons that you can get. So that's what really sold me, as well as the future proofing of this, because motorized sliders are of course becoming a bigger thing. And so I really hope that they're in development with all that, and can't wait to see it. So I'm gonna leave you guys with a short compilation of a bunch of shots that I used using the Blackmagic as well as this. And I'm also not going to cheat by using slow-mo footage. This will be 24 FPS, non-stabilized in post. Everything will just be regular rolling footage right from the slider. If you have any questions on the Zeapon slider, definitely leave a comment down below. Otherwise, thanks so much for watching, guys. Don't forget to subscribe, ring that bell, and hit that like button.